Hi all. So if you've seen my previous video, you'll know that I've been trying to create an app that will help me test some of the design to code AI applications out there. Now, during discussions on design systems Slack, since the last video, the GPT agent functionality has come out. And I was chatting within the Slack that I would say that I think that's going to be a game changer for design systems, being able to feed a GPT with your design system, your documentation, and everything, and then use that as a support, essentially a support center. Kaelig came back and said he agreed that publishing to GPTs would be great, and he kindly shared a Storybook GPT, which helps his team write storybook stories from a template that they use. And I thought I'd try and give that a bit of a whirl. So, as a bit of a recap, this is the application, or this was the original design of the application that I was looking to build. I wanted to build something that would allow me to quickly change the base value of a Tailwind color palette. So if I needed a slightly different yellow or slightly different orange, that I could put in an X value and it would quickly spurt something out. Again, this might not be useful. It's just for the purposes of this experiment. From that, I created some components and I use Builder.io. And if you followed in my LinkedIn updates as well, I've tried to use dev mode as well, Figma dev mode, to middling success, I would say. I found that the code it produced was really verbose, and I spent a lot of time having to unpick it and simplifying it. But again, both are in beta, so it's early days. So hopefully we'll see that improve. So now just to update you where I've got with the app, I've started to build it out. I'd used a bit of Builder.io, I've used a bit of Figma dev mode, but the real game changer has been ChatGPT itself. Just being able to ask it questions, help it give me React code, help me give it TypeScript code, help me figure out errors. I would say my dev standard, considering I haven't really done front end development as a full-time job for over 12 years, is probably lower than mid, I would say. So for me to be able to create something like this in a number of hours, I would say as well, Chat GPT has been phenomenal. And if I flip over to the code, this is where Chat GPT has really helped me. It's really helped me understand the React code, helped me understand, things like use state, TypeScript. So it's been a great coach along the way. But as you can see, I've started to create some components, and some are quite noddy and some are a little bit more complex. And what I did at the beginning of this project, I set up an empty storybook application, which is here. As you can see, these are just the examples that come with Storybook. But I wanted to see how quickly I could create components in Storybook using the Storybook GPT that Kaelig shared. So one caveat to this is that I'm using Tailwind CSS. So that's only for now. I'd like to convert that all to design tokens eventually, but that's not for now. And I had to do a little bit of configuration to get Storybook to understand where Tailwind was. Again, ChatGPT was my friend there, and it was quite easy to set up. So I can start things simple. I'm going to use my very simple button component. It's very simple. It's got 3 props. So it's got a primary, secondary, and tertiary mode. You can put in a string for the text and an optional on-click event. Now, what I'm going to do is select all that text, flip over to the Chat GPT. Now I can paste a link to this in the comments. So all I'm going to do is paste in that code. Now you can see it's created me the code to create the storybook story. So I'm going to copy that. I am going to create a new file called button.stories.tsx. And I'm simply going to create that. I'll copy that, sorry. So I've saved that. I'm going to flip back to my storybook project. And there I've got a button. And it's got my primary, secondary, and tertiary, and my text. And then you can set up the on-click as well. So you can see that's really, really fast. That took probably about a minute for ChatGPT to come back with the stories. and a couple of seconds to paste that in and refresh. Okay, so let's try another one. So we're going to do the swatch, which is basically this here. So it's got a color, it's got a width, a height, it's got a text, and it's got hex code. So let's see how this goes. So I'm going to go back to my code, take my swatch component, select all that, post it into the Storybook GPT, press enter. Okay, so then quite quickly again, it's come out with some code and some stories. So I'm going to copy that again. Go back here, create a new file, swatch stories.tsx. And paste that in. No issues found. Go back to the storybook, refresh, and there you've got the swatch. And you've got a blue swatch, and then you can change the color to that as you wish. So again, pretty impressive. And you can see, again, it's come up with all the props. I haven't actually implemented an empty state yet, although I put the prop in, so that's why that's not working. But you can see that's pretty impressive and very fast to create a story. So let's create something a bit more complex. So if I go back to what I want to do now is create a palette of colors. So using components within a component, as it were. So again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to my color scale component. Select all that. This one's a bit more complex, but it's still it's complex in terms of what it does, but it's only got one prop, so a bit of a balance there. So I'm going to go back to Chat GPT or Storybook GPT, paste. Okay, so then it's given me some code. I just need to make sure I adjust this code there. So I'm going to go in. Again, new component. So color scale dot stories dot tsx, and make sure that that is correct. Save that. Go back to my. Don't even have to refresh. And there you go. So I've got one component, and then I could go and change. And again, you can see there how that's reacting. So again, that took a couple of seconds to get that into a storybook. And then, you can go and share that with your colleagues. I'm pretty blown away with that. I think that will save people masses amount of time. And I'd just like to thank Kaelig again for sharing that. I think it's pretty awesome. So I hope you found that useful. I found it really inspiring, and I think it just shows the power of these GPTs and how it can help everyone become a lot more productive. Anyway, until the next time, cheers.